Welcome back to Spell Storm Miniatures, a show about miniature war games, including War Machine and Hordes by Privateer Press. We want to inspire you to play more. My name is Jeremiah.
I'm Dan.
And this is Chad.
And we have a very special episode for you today. This is the year that we finally master everything. Well,
Yes.
maybe. Actually, it's our year in review episode where we get to talk about the things that we were able to accomplish, maybe the highs and the lows of last year. And then it is also the opportunity for us to look forward and set some goals for ourselves for this coming year. And so we hope that by listening to this episode, maybe you get an idea or two and you get inspired to join us in some of those endeavors. So, but before we do that, hey, why don't we talk about some games? Have you guys played any games lately?
The game of life, the actual real life.
As in not the board game.
No. I wish the board game, that'd even be funner. But
Yeah. It's hard around the holiday season.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Chad, you get any non-War Machine games in?
I have actually. Josh, I'm totally forgetting his last name. The creator of Mini Blitz came out and did another day of demos at Rune Board a couple of weeks ago.
Very cool.
And so I showed up early before I had to start work, and I got to play another game with him. But this time, instead of using his pre-generated characters, I actually used my medieval deck to build a couple of characters.
Nice.
So,
And you got that at the first demo, right?
yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was a lot of fun. He and I just played a 2v2 capture the flag or kill game where I had built one guy with an axe and a short sword that was supposed to be kind of like my frontline like melee DPSer, and then I had another guy that was running around behind him with a crossbow. So I almost won that game, but his dude with the broadsword ended up finally catching up to my guy with the crossbow that also had the flag, and with where I needed to run the flag back to, I couldn't quite get past him without risking like him basically constantly chasing me down and making attacks against me. So I ended up deciding to stand and fight and try and take him down, and I missed like 3 shots with my crossbow in a row, and
Oh, bummer.
and then he ended up cutting me down. So but that was fun.
Dude,
And then
that would have been mad cred beating the creator in his own game.
yeah, it was getting pretty close. He got super lucky with his archer that has the longbow has a special ability called stagger, where if it does damage to you, the model that it damages is stunned basically, so you can't move for rounds equal to the damage that you take.
Oh, that would have been super helpful.
And so he hit I got my melee guy like finally across the battlefield, and his archer was standing in the upper level of this like wood fort that he had made in a sniper position, and turned around and shot me twice and stunned me for 4 rounds. And I was like, oh crap, and like did a point of damage to me. It's like, so the way that it works is like, he couldn't move, but I could still like activate him and bind the wound so I wasn't bleeding out, and then use other of the like one-shot items that you have in your utility belt. But then it also counts for like if you activate your other person, that counts as a round of passing, because there are certain things like there are rules for moving current. And if you activate one person and move them through the river, the other person may not activate, but the current is still technically running. And so the current would push someone else farther down. Same thing with the being staggered, is if you take turns with other models that you have, those rounds still pass. So it's not like you literally have to waste 4 or whatever amount of turns just with that character to clear the stun. It clears as you do other stuff. But then he ended up missing his like next handful of attacks while my melee dude was just standing there. He missed all of his other attacks against him, and I just ran up and just beat his archer to death.
Oh, man.
we got revenge.
Yeah. And then on New Year's Day, Judy actually invited me over to her house to do a 2v2 game with her, Remy, and Remy's wife, Sam, to do a demo game of Song of Ice and Fire
Nice.
for Sam, because Sam hadn't played before. And so we did Free Folk and Starks versus Night's Watch and Neutrals, which is House Bolton. And we got our butts kicked. There were some nasty combinations with the Ruse Bolton deck, and then also just the Night's Watch, and getting to see like Jon Snow and Maester Aemon is already a really strong combination. The amount of healing that was in there, the amount of disruption that Ruse Bolton brings, and all this stuff, and we just got our butts kicked.
So wait, okay, so you were paired up with Judy,
Yeah.
and then it was Sam and Remy,
Yeah.
okay, and so how did you handle the 2v2 with like the NPC board?
We only had one NPC board,
Okay.
and we each only had, like, I only had one NCU, Sam only had one, I think Remy only had one, and I think Judy had two.
Oh, okay, so everyone really got to play theirs. If
Yeah.
they okay, well, then okay, just may not have the most advantageous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but and the idea of the game was mostly just to try and teach Sam like what was going
Yeah.
on. It's still a lot to take in, and we
Yeah.
probably should have still done it in a 1v1 because with 4 people, there's a lot of stuff going on still.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. When you did alternating activations, does that meant that you were going every other for your team? Or did you?
So it was basically like one team would activate, and then the other team would activate, and each team would only get one activation. But
they would
you could
choose.
choose
Okay,
like if Judy was like, oh, "Okay, I really want to get this NCU on the field to do this thing to start doing this other thing,"
Yeah.
or if she was like, I don't really see anything advantageous for me to move. Why don't you take another turn again? Because you have like some stuff going on over on your side of the field.
Okay.
So
That's really nice.
yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Rob Stark with Berserkers are crazy because the Berserkers are already speed 6, and Rob is a regular attachment. Getting attached to them gives them +1 speed, so then they're speed 7, and they're a super dangerous melee unit.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Their disadvantage is that their armor save sucks.
Yeah.
Because their armor save is a 5-up, and when you go against Swan Brothers, who are like, we have critical blows and sundering, and you're like, oh, awesome.
Nice.
I save on 6s, and you rolled a couple of 6s, so it's like
Yeah.
I have to roll 8 6s to not lose anybody. it was rough.
Yeah, I actually was able to get a few games in during in between the holidays and stuff, and so Michael and I have an ongoing campaign with Space Hulk, and he's got them all nicely painted up, and we're just doing the missions that are in the starter, and so and we are taking turns. One person will be the Space Marines, and the other person will be the Gene Stealers, and so far, the first 2 rounds, the Gene Stealers have won. And it says we've taken turns. That means each one of us have won a game. Mm-hmm. And then in the third mission, he was running the Space Marines, and I was running the Gene Stealers. And he placed. He had there's one Marine with a weapons upgrade that has like a limited number of ammo, and but it's like super special, and when you get continuous hits, they drop down. So like your first hit's like a 5-up, and your second hit's a 4-up. If you get to keep shooting, and so it's just so. And he was able to get that in a deployment area for me, which in that scenario stops me from deploying within 6 squares of wherever that model is. And he was able to take out the entire deployment zone because the whole thing was only like 12 squares. So he said right in the middle and said, you're done. And so scenario-wise, I was not able to achieve a win condition, but then neither was he. And so that meant that it was a draw. And so we now play 3 missions, and now we're each 1, 1, and 1. So, but yeah, it's a great game. And he didn't have a table. It's very modular, and it has those cardboard tiles. So we just set up on the floor. It felt like a kid again. It was great. And then last week, Cameron came over, and Cameron, he comes to the Runa board a little bit.
Yeah.
Plays Kill Team, I think, currently.
Yeah.
When Malifaux 2nd edition was around, he was a henchman. And but when 3rd edition dropped, by that time he was already playing Kill Team and really wasn't involved in the beta testing of because he had school and things like that too.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of things going on in his life. And so when he came over last week, it was his first 3rd edition Malifaux game. And so he dropped Titania, and I was running Lady Justice. And so we're playing with the rules. he's doing the flashback. Okay, this meant that. What does it mean now? And so there's a lot of translating for him because third edition Malifaux is much more simple than second edition Malifaux. And I was able to get Lady Justice in and kill Titania, which doesn't end the game. The game keeps going. But later, when we were looking over the rules, there was an opportunity that he had to prevent that from happening, and we just didn't know that it existed, because he's learning Titania essentially for the first time.
Yeah.
So we just kind of called it and whatever. Got a Frostgrave game in. So remember the gaming day that I had on Black Friday? I introduced Kevin to Frostgrave, and he has I think his cousin Andrew wanted to teach him Frostgrave, and so Kevin and Andrew and Wes all came over and we played a 4-player Frostgrave game, and there was a lot going on. 4-player Frostgrave. I forgot how wild and crazy it is because I've only been doing campaigns, right?
Yeah.
And 2 players, there's predictability. We have win conditions, but it was just 4 players and it was an all-out battle. And so me and Andrew were stuck in this corner and we were fighting over one treasure. I cannot believe how much resources the both of us spent on this one treasure. So he gets his wizard up on this on a piece of terrain, and it's within I can't remember exactly how close, but it was within striking distance of this treasure. And I was like, I gotta have that treasure, and I was gonna cast this like spell where I was gonna teleport the treasure out of the building right next to my guy conveniently, right? But I needed to take care of that wizard first. And so I did a push spell on him, which pushed him off the building, falling on the outside of the building now, and taking fall damage. And now he can't access the treasure. And so I was like, you know what? It was awesome, and it was terribly cinematic. But there was a lot of resources spent on that. I should have just went after other ones.
Let him have that one.
Let him have that one, and let me go get the other ones. And there were a few in striking distance. I just never, But that was good. And then the big awesome thing is I got my first game of Gaslands in. So I had picked up Gaslands, from Moon and Board a couple months ago, and Chris and his dad and John had me over, and we played a 4-player Gaslands. And basically, what it is he essentially set up kind of like a racetrack on the dining room table, and there were a couple of gates that you have to go through, and when you go through a gate and you have to go a certain direction through a gate, something happens, like your weapon, before you go through the first gate you don't have weapons, and then after you go through the first gate then your weapons activate.
It's like the movie Death Race.
Pretty much, yeah. It's post-apocalyptic, Mad Max. It's things like that. And so and we're using Hot Wheels, so which is like super cool, as one should. And but the way that it's played, have either one of you played X-Wing?
No.
Okay, so there are movement templates, and so you on your turn, you take a template, and what template is available to you is based on what gear you're in, and what gear round it is. And so basically, it's 6 rounds, and it starts at 1 and it goes up through 6, and then it starts over at 1 and goes up, but your own vehicle is in different gears, and so if you're in gear 3, you can only take templates that are available to you at gear 3.
Yeah,
and then you move your car, and then there's like cool things you can do if you want to risk rolling some dice. Then you can add a slide and a swerve and so there's just like really fun things you can do. The main economy with your car is you have hull damage. So when your car, when you lose all your hull damage, your car can explode or whatever. But the main economy is really these hazard tokens. And so if you do a hazardous maneuver or you drive through terrain that causes you to have, take a hazard token, you only can get up to 6. And then once you reach 6, then something happens to your car, and so that happened to me twice. I was like,
oh no!
I just ran real hot, but it's an amazing game. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take old. I got a bunch of old 40K bits, and then I've got some War Machine bits, and Oz and I are going to start gluing them to our cars, and we're going to be painting them, and it's going to be epic. It was a fantastic game. I cannot believe how much fun it was.
Nice.
So
I recently came across some printable terrain for that. I was going to try to edit some of it to use in Marvel Crisis Protocol. So
Nice.
maybe we'll have to.
we
print some up for
can
you.
talk.
Yeah.
And actually, Gaslands, if you use just like, there's a bunch of like, it's real modular the way the rules are written. And so the basic rules are simple. And then you can say, okay, now you can add this rule if you want. You can add this rule if you want. You can, and Chris and his dad, they were like way farther ahead than I am. And so they were already playing with all these different rules. Like you get sponsors for your team, and if when you get a sponsor, you get benefits, you get perks and things like
Yeah.
that. But anyway, if you take the base game, I bet you and Alex would love it.
Yeah.
And I mean, hands down. Like, and you already have Hot Wheels, I'm sure.
Right. Glue some spiky bits to them.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And we were playing with just basic Hot Wheels
Yeah.
because Chris hadn't done the modding yet. Although he started to when we were playing, he found some stuff and he's already started gluing. But I think Gaslands, you can get a lot of longevity out of because there's also campaign options, or campaign style anyway play, which of course I love. But,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I think that's it for other games. Yeah. How about War Machine games, guys?
Nope.
Now I'm hoping to get a game against James this Wednesday. Actually,
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I'm hoping to be there too. I'm going to try to catch an early game. Oz and I did get one game in, and I'm learning a new caster, so I put Xerxes 1 on the table for the first time. And I faced off against Doomy 2. And Oz did this weird thing, and I don't understand Oz sometimes, but he like, and I don't know what round it was, but he did all the things that he does that you're supposed to do, and then he moves up Doomy 2, and he just kind of leaves them there. And it's like, come at me. Like, it was baiting me to come at him. And I was looking at my stuff, and I was trying to figure out my kit and what I can do, because this is my first game with Xerxes, and I was also running him in Masters of War, so I had different stuff on the table that I normally have.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I get him? Yeah, I can get him. Tibby can ride up and okay. And so Tibby went up there and ate him, and I was like, that's it. Oz, what were you doing? And he was like, yeah, I was trying something.
Well, it didn't work.
So anyway,
maybe he felt bad for dicing you, beating you up the last couple times.
yeah, he's kind of mean to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doomy 2 has some decent scorn play. With,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I'm going to add Fury to your beast because you have Fury
Yes.
management issues. Yeah.
I know. But okay, here's the deal. Okay, so I ran into Harry at the parking lot of a store recently, and Harry and I just got to talking, and Harry makes this comment. He goes, "Oz has an encyclopedic memory. He knows my stuff more than I do." And Harry's been playing since Mark 1.
Yeah.
And he just spends all this time on the War Machine University, and he's always reading about things, and he knows stuff, and so I'm waiting for the day when like all of that knowledge comes together, and he just really kind of takes off and becomes a really great player.
Just clicks.
Yeah, I mean he is a good player and he's a fun opponent, but but he still does weird things sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? So yeah. Well, okay, so I made a joke at the beginning. I was like, this is the year that we finally master everything. If you've been a longtime listener of our podcast, you know that we balance work, and we balance life, and we balance family, and we balance other hobbies and things like that. And so a lot of times when we come to the microphone, it's confession time. But the truth is we really enjoy what we do, and we make a lot of great friends. And so what I wanted to do is I just wanted to have a conversation. I'm going to look back first and then look forward next. And so when we look back at 2019, I want to have a conversation about the best and worst, and I also want to have a conversation about your top 3 games that you've played, and I was thinking like systems, because yes, War Machine and Hordes is our primary game, and we all have multiple armies, and we play that a lot, and that's probably the game that I play the most. but we also dabble into other games. And so, if you were to kind of rank those other games, what are some of the standouts for you that you've tried in the last year that maybe our listeners might want to try, if they haven't yet?
Yeah.
Oh, well, for me, for me, playing Riot Quest for the first time at Lock and Load was a ton of fun. I got to get a demo game with Will Hungerford, who's the primary designer, Ryan Montague, Ryan Montgomery, who's one of our local guys, and then one of the other competitive casual guys. I forgot what the like painting group that he's a part of. One of his other guys was also in there, and that was a ton of fun. And I think that's a super fun game, and that is a really good introductory miniatures game because it's a board game miniatures game. That's the arena skirmish, trying to get loot, trying to beat up everyone else. That has a lot of crazy stuff that can happen during the game, and so I've been getting everything as it's coming out, trying to get everything painted as it's coming along, and I haven't gotten to play it a whole ton, but it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of mayhem that can happen, and it's a fun game where you can try and go for those big plays, and even if you lose or if it causes it creates an opportunity for someone else to win the game. Like the games play super fast once you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about maybe a 30-minute game or something like that. It's not like War Machine where you're on like round 4 and you try and make a big play and it doesn't work out, and now you've just spent an hour and a half or something playing this game, and you're like, oh well, that was a dumb mistake, or you're slightly out of position or something like that.
Riot Quest sounds like it has a lot of high reward.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah, take the risk and
do the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And
See, and I would love that.
sometimes it pays off.
I still haven't got a chance to play that game yet, so that's going to be on my list for this year.
Well, you gotta come down sometime. I've got all the miniatures and stuff down at the store.
Yeah.
Available for people to use, and there's a good stable because I have 2 of the starters and I've got 1 of everything else. There's now a good stable of characters to choose from.
Nice. So one of your top 3 is Riot Quest.
Riot Quest, yeah.
Okay. Dan, do you have a top 3, or you?
Yeah, I had to think about it for
name one
a
of
little
them.
bit.
Name one of them. We'll each
so-
take one at a time. Maybe
Sounds good.
Okay.
So I'm gonna actually go with I don't know if we go top 10 style down bottom. Either way, it doesn't really matter. A Song of Ice and Fire was kind of fun. Like that was just really got that one demo game, but you could just start seeing the interactions and the abilities with it, and then the tray movement is kind of like that different element that none of the other games I play have, I guess.
Yeah.
So it kind of
It
adds
scratches a different edge.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different style in a way.
Yeah.
So
That's
even though, like I
great.
said, I haven't played much of it, I've just collected models and
That's great. All right.
played the game.
Yeah, that's I agree. That's one of the games I tried this year, and I love it, but it's not on my list.
Oh,
Yeah, so one of the ones that's on my list, I'm gonna have to go with 3rd edition Malifaux. I really like what they did with the game, streamlining it, and I've always enjoyed the world and I enjoy the characters. And I think one of the things that helped make it come alive for me is I ran demos of Through the Breach at Free RPG Day at Guardian Games, and then I also ran my D&D group through one of the stories in Through the Breach. And so being able to interact in that world in another way was, I think, reinforced, what I like about the game a lot. It's very character driven, and so everyone has a name and they have a background and they mean something, and plus the game is it's super fun on the table. So challenging and really deep, but it is fun. So I'm gonna choose Malifaux. What's your second one there?
For my number 2, it was A Song of Ice and Fire, actually, which I started playing earlier this year.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask, and we could have talked about it at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Because I've played a little bit more than Dan has. I've still only played like half a dozen games, or maybe slightly more. But the game is really interesting. The big draw about it is I'm a really big fan of of the universe of the IP that is involved with it, and the NCU board is something that's very different that I
Yeah.
haven't seen compared to other miniatures games that I've played or really seen a whole lot of. So that's a really interesting and very cool thing, and I can still tell that there's a ton of depth to the game that I still haven't even scratched the surface on for the little bit I've played or watched other people playing and stuff. But it is a lot of fun, and getting used to the movement trays and still trying to get used to the alternating activations because I played War Machine for so long. The alternating activations thing is still something that I'm trying to get used to.
Yeah.
Because you do it in Riot Quest, but it's such a small scale. You do it in Monster Apocalypse, but it's still such a small scale. But even then, it's like monster turn, unit turn. You know, you're still doing more than just one model activation when you're playing a Monster Apocalypse. And so going back to the one activation at a time is a different type of puzzle to unwrap. And that's part of the reason why I really like is it's challenging my brain in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's also just a really cool, really interesting game. There's just so much stuff going on with it, and trying to get the correct timing and triggers and things like that down is tricky with any new game.
Yeah. What's another one that made the list for you, Dan?
I'm gonna go with BattleTech actually.
Nice.
Mainly because we got introduced, that one, and then I kind of got reinvigorated by the Kickstarter a little bit, and
Wildly successful too.
yeah, it was pretty big. It was a big one. I'm still going through the pledge manager. It's got to finish up this month, but there's a lot to choose from. Just they have so many extra things.
Yeah.
But I think I've narrowed it down. But yeah, really, I mean, it's just, again, it's a different a hex space, somewhat alternating turn that can change around a little bit. Yeah, just big robots stomping around the field.
Yeah.
And the world is so deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of story to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Saga. One of the things that I want to do personally is get into historical miniatures, and so I got a demo of Saga in a couple of months ago, and picked up some Normans and some Anglo Saxons. I think I have to do, but one of the things that one of the things I like about Song of Ice and Fire is it has a historical kind of feel.
Yeah.
Like, because I know nothing about the IP, right? Because I never read the books or watched the TV show. I just like the game itself, and I thought the rules were good. So when I got the introduction to Saga, I was like, oh, there's actually a lot of similarities here between what I already know from Song of Ice and Fire, right?
Yeah.
So they have, instead of an NCU board, they have like a command board, I think is what they call it. And you roll two different kinds of dice. You have proprietary dice. And then what you roll, you get to assign to certain special actions on that command board. And then throughout the game, you get to use those dice for those abilities. And then you still roll d6s to hit or whatever. But I love the game. I love how, for the most part, it's 2D terrain. You can get some 3D stuff in there, but a lot of times it's just very simple kind of a game, and it's and the game that I played and the games that I've seen played tend to be a little more skirmish level. So there's not an outrageous number model count, and and it really just, like, as soon as I played, I knew I loved the game, and so that made my list, and so there's Saga. So
The third system that I chose was Mini Blitz, because who doesn't like
Nice.
playing with Legos? Monster Apocalypse was another one that I had played, I believe, for the first time this year, and that almost made the list. But Mini Blitz has been
there's a lot of
fun.
honorable mentions.
Yeah. Mini Blitz has been a lot of fun to play and try out because you think about all the different Legos and stuff that you have sitting around. My roommate has a big bag full of Lego people, and then a big organized tray of all these medieval weapons and stuff like that, because he's used them multiple times for creating RPG characters and stuff. When people didn't have a miniature, you just make a little Lego dude.
That's brilliant.
And so he's just got a ton of stuff that I borrowed when I made my two characters. and it's a lot of fun. And the only thing that's a little bit tricky is building your own arenas, just to have going out and getting the plates to be able to build the arenas to play in. I think could be a little tricky, but there's also a cool, like, everyone has this idea, or a lot. Feel like a lot of people who do a lot of hobbying have this grand vision of building some cool piece of terrain or some thematic looking board, and you get to live that experience with Legos when you're playing Mini Blitz, because you build your own arenas and things like that. And all the stuff that Josh, the creator, has is all stuff that he's built and designed himself.
Nice.
And there's a lot of really cool pieces. Like he has like four or five pieces that are just basically like a city highway, and then he's got like a flower garden, an ice fortress, another one that's like a lava pit, another two that's like this Lincoln Log style like wooden fortress, and then another one that's like this castle pillar that's actually a dice tower that's in like this stone wall courtyard,
Yeah, sounds
basically. So
Yeah, that Yeti skull within the ice fortress. That's
Yeah.
also a dice tower, and
See, I like
the
that.
river
That's
and
cool.
everything.
yeah, it's super cool. And so he's got a bunch of different plates and things like that for all sorts of different arenas that he can make. And he's going to be at Cascadia Bricks at the end of February, and he said that he's going to have an open play arena area set up for people to just come and play the game and stuff. Well, he's also like doing demos of his game and selling his game, and then you'll also be at a giant Lego convention, so you can go and get some loose pieces or some unique things to be able to build characters.
That's
and
right.
stuff, So
That's right. That's what makes that cool.
Yeah, maybe we should have made this like top 5 or 6 because, like I said, honorable mentions of like Malifaux, Mini Blitz, all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
What's your third one, Dan?
So third one, I was gonna say it was with real quick on the Legos. Is building the arenas is kind of fun,
Yeah.
and I've actually bought more Lego plastic lately too than I need to. But yeah,
hook, line, and sinker.
yeah, addict of plastic.
Oh,
Well, I mean, it's easy too when the kid's into it and you want to relive your childhood a little bit,
Exactly,
and like,
yeah.
and then I was
Yeah.
even looking, I was like, with these roadways, man, again, I could even do my Marvel Crisis Protocol board out of Legos.
Oh yeah,
Would
there's
be
a lot of
interesting.
See,
You know,
Yeah,
or
that's what
build a
gets me.
Malifaux board or
Multiple
something. Like,
purpose.
yeah,
Yep.
if you
Yeah.
build these boards, you could almost use them in different things. Maybe it looks a little weird, but so for my third, I'm just gonna go with the classic of Hordes. You know, War Machine Hordes, and because
Nice.
I've played a lot of Trolls. I mean, it's the most game the most hours I've put into a game, or the most games I've played of a system has been with the Trolls, and I've built up a lot of them and painted a lot of them, and getting close to not FA complete, but faction complete.
Yeah.
And FA in a lot of things. So it's been
Yeah.
fun.
Nice. Yeah, I debated putting that on my list too because I was like, honestly, I love this game so much.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, for you, it's kind of like a new system because you were primarily a War Machine player.
That's
It's
true.
really only been this last year that you've been playing Hordes, focusing on Scorn. They
That's
are
true.
technically two different systems, and a lot of people forget that because the resource mechanic is different.
that's right. And there was a big learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I could put that on there. I think I'll do that. I'm going to scratch my third, and I'm going to add Hordes to my list as well. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having right now, and I'm not a strong list builder, and so when I put something on the table and when it doesn't work, the feedback is immediate, you know, and then if I netlist something and I put it on the table and it doesn't work, you know, the feedback is there too. It's like, okay, I'm not piloting this quite right, you know. And so there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good call. So our three, so Chad, your three were Riot Quest, Song of Ice and Fire,
and Mini Blitz.
Mini Blitz. And your three was
I'll go with Song of Ice and Fire, BattleTech, and Hordes.
Hordes. And then I went with Malifaux and Saga and Hordes. Okay, that's good. We're a fun group.
Yeah.
We have
You guys play a lot more different stuff, really, than I do. I kind of
Yeah.
I haven't branched out that much, and part of it is just like finances, and also
Yeah.
like I don't get out and about as much to play some different stuff. I've been interested in playing Frostgrave. I just haven't gotten around to getting some sort of a demo for it or anything.
I would love to give you that demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we also played Infinity a little bit this year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Judgment. I had some Judgment earlier in the year.
And I did play some
And
40K and some Kill Team this year too.
There you
Same
go.
with us and Age of Sigmar and and,
Yeah, and you gave me a demo, a quick demo of Shadespire
oh yeah,
a while ago too.
man, I haven't played since
Lots.
Beastgrave dropped. Like I bought the Beastgrave starter and then really haven't. I played like 1 or 2 games. I've been using Night Haunts because I'm actually getting them ready for Warcry. So
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh, I see. I like playing multiple games because
Yeah.
each one is unique, and they, and then I always come home,
And you have an at-home
Yeah.
person you can play multiple
and
games.
and I do. I have a living, yeah,
Sadly, I know.
yeah. So I'm really lucky. So in that way, so. And then, and also I have a day off in the middle of the week, like a weekday,
Yeah.
which gives me some flexibility. So I can't make certain events on the weekends because of that. But
Yeah.
So, well, let's continue our review of 2019, and this we got the best and the worst. Let's start with the worst
Sure.
things
So,
that aren't very good. So some of the lowlights, some of the lows of the year. And I thought maybe we can just popcorn this. I can start.
Sure.
So one of the things I had kickstarted was The Other Side, which is the larger game that's in the Malvo universe. And so I kickstarted and I was all excited, and I did an unboxing video, and and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. And
womp.
yeah, there's no one's playing it, no one's got it. Everyone's like, yeah, it looks fun and maybe, and but nothing. And so I'm really sad. So I have this this army that I've kind of been building up a little bit, I guess. I got a couple extra pieces like almost after the Kickstarter dropped, and like once I received my shipment. And so I have extra stuff. But yeah. So one of the lowlights for me is that I have not been able to play a game of it. And now they're just there's models that are sitting on a tray in a box. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to mini life.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I can tag on some. Like a little bit low for me was, I guess, well, one, just not being able to play as much, but really, I was all geared up to go to Lock and Load, and then some stuff happened, and ended up having to cancel that trip, and so I was like,
Yeah.
a little sad about that.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah. Big low for me was just there was a lot of personal stuff going on again throughout this year. Just felt like I was always kind of struggling with something. But one of the big things that was a big letdown was not being able to go to Attack X this year, which I was really, really looking forward to. But
Yeah.
between I just couldn't afford to miss the days of work and spend the money to go on the trip, which it broke my heart to tell my buddy Nathan, who invites me every year, who is one of the people who organizes it, that I wasn't going to be able to make it this year. And he had asked me early in the year to come up and run and judge all of the War Machine events. And so it was really heartbreaking to tell him, like, I just can't afford to miss the work and be able to make the trip. And I'm really hoping to be able to change that this year.
Yeah.
And because I had a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun. And there's a handful of those Canadian guys that do travel to some of their events that I get to see, but there's a bunch of other people that I don't always get to see. And I was looking forward to actually taking one of my models that I had bought the year before from Creature Caster, that I was going to submit in the painting competition that they do up
Nice.
there.
Yeah.
That I had done, but unfortunately didn't get to do that. So I'm really hoping to try and make it up there this year, because it's a good show. It's a lot of fun, and all the guys that go to the event are super cool, and there's a lot of people that I don't get to see very often.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, we can look back at the year, and it's weird looking back at the year, right? And there's some disappointments in the hobby, but like it's the life stuff that's that's the stuff that weighs on you the most.
Yeah.
And there were some things that were kind of weird for us this year too, and but yeah. How about on the hobby side for you? Is there anything kind of you wish you, so, we do in our family we go rosebud thorn. So rose are like the good things, and the thorn is the sticky the part that
Yeah.
hurts, right? And then the bud is like what you're looking forward to. That's kind of what this is, right? So any thorns for 2019 that hobby related?
No, I actually, for as far as like hobby goals and things like that, I mean, I guess I didn't get 100% of all of my circle stuff done, which was originally the primary goal for the year. But I did get one of everything done. It's just the couple of extra things that I tacked on at the end, like extra unit of Wolves of Orboros plus UA, second unit of Skinwalkers, my second unit of Druids, my second and third Wold Whites,
Yeah,
the third Werewolf. So it's like some extra things that I already had stuff of that probably not going to feel, but like they kind of flesh a little things out for like options and things later that those like tail end things that I didn't quite get done. But, there was a lot of other painting and stuff that I did this year that I'll talk about later that were all on the upside. So
yeah. Why don't we transition to the upside? That's the place where I want to hang out most of the time anyway. And so,
Right.
Yeah. So why don't we share some of the highlights of 2019?
Basically being able to get together, do the podcast, and kind of fun.
Yeah.
Working on videos, getting better at that.
And we finally solved the sound issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a highlight.
getting
yeah.
better. So that's been, I guess, a lot of the upside is just being able to experience a lot of this, get a lot of the games going, and kind of get overall better. Especially painting, I'm feeling more confident and quicker at what I do now than what I did a year ago.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's kind of always a fun, positive thing to be like, it's actually, I didn't spend 6 hours on that and feel kind of blah about it.
Yeah. And one of my highlights was I had set a goal for learning Scorn. I was going to play a minimum of 10 games with each Warlock before I moved on to a new Warlock. And I stuck to that goal the entire year. And it was great. I went up to, a couple streamrollers and stuff, and I basically monolisted because I wasn't ready to add a second Warlock yet. And so I'm proud of myself for that. That's actually a huge highlight for me. So that was one, and actually that was one of the goals that I set last year that I met. So that makes it even better.
Nice.
So
Yeah. I just started off with like getting my circle stuff painted and just getting a lot more painting done in general. This past year, I've really worked to paint not only my circle stuff but also a wide variety of a lot of other things over the last year. I feel like I've been getting a lot better. Experimented with some different techniques, which has been fun to do. Got to go to Lock and Load.
yeah, that's a
This year,
huge high for me. That's
again.
yeah. Oh my goodness, and Ozzy went, and we had so much fun. Oh
Yeah, and this last upside thing is kind of bittersweet. Is organizing I5 Team Championship again this year. It was the 6th annual one. It was my 4th time being involved with organizing it, but it will be my last time organizing it. And so, for personal reasons and otherwise, I decided that I'm going to step away from doing any of the organization. And I'm going to leave it to the other community leaders to pick it up and organize it in the future. But I'm also looking forward to being able to play in the event again because I haven't gotten to do that since the first and second one. So
yeah, and team events are like the best, I think.
yeah, and it's a lot of fun. And I've had a lot of people that have been like, "Why don't you be on my team?" I'm like, "Sure," as soon as I'm not running the event, like making sure that everything tries to run smoothly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think speaking of events, one of the big things that was last year was the King of Coins event.
Yep.
That was huge. We were able to do that, and it was it took place in a time when it was kind of in between things, and so it was a really good morale booster for the community. And there's a lot of participation, a lot of smack talk going on the COG Discord, and people challenging one another. And then the final day where we had just the top 8. That was a big growing learning experience for me. That was my first time, running an event, and then and having to make some judge calls that I've never even thought about before. So I was like, I don't know, what does the rule say? Like, and then try to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, I thought King of Coins was fantastic, and we were able to give out pint glasses for some folks, and they turned out really great. And kind of wish I had a set of my own, but you know, those they're elusive. So whoever has those, congratulations, and they're rare,
Yeah.
super rare.
Collectible.
Yeah, collectible. That's the word I want to say. Yeah, but then other events. So I really enjoyed my Black Friday event. You know, we had I think I had 3 gaming tables set up, and I think throughout the course of the day, I think 17 people came to my house, you know, to hang out and play games, and it was great. So some War Machine was going on, some Frostgrave, some Malifaux. No Song of Ice and Fire because those people didn't bring their armies, but they came anyway and brought cake. So
Nice.
I'll take cake. So yeah, it was nice cake.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess tagging on to events was I-5 was a pretty good time this year. I think it ran pretty smooth. I mean, I also enjoyed going 3 and 1 with Trolls.
Yeah.
That felt kind of good. Then got my teeth kicked in by Zal 2 and Supreme Guardians. I mean, I've never played against it before, so I kind of
Yeah.
expected to, and against a really good player. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, overall, that was another really fun
Yeah.
highlight event.
Yeah, it really was a great year. There's a lot going on, you know. So, hey, do you have any other ideas or thoughts to share about it before we move on to talking about 2020?
Oh, I'm sure we could go on a long time if we keep thinking about it. But those are the highlights. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So looking forward, I want to ask you about any hobby goals that you may have and gaming goals you may have. And I separated them because I do see them as different. And so
Absolutely.
yeah. So why don't we talk about gaming goals? Do you have any gaming goals for this coming year?
Oof, play all the games.
Play all the games. That's my goal.
Sorry, stole your tagline. Yeah, I guess get a little bit more proficient in a few games. I'd like to get MCP going a little bit more. Play some more Malifaux. Song of Ice and Fire would be good. Infinity's coming out with a new rule set,
Yeah.
so that ought to be
4th edition or whatever,
interesting.
N4 or whatever they call it.
Yeah, so I've kind of been holding off on that game a little bit till the new rules because I don't want to cloud in with the current and then like learn new.
I'm holding off because I bought into a dead army.
Yeah. Hey, they're cool looking though.
They are great. I'm going to have to use them for an RPG setting or something, but I can't use them in Infinity. But yeah, okay. Nice. I know for me, it's has to be more participation. And so I want to make it out to a weekly game night at least twice a month. And I think I can do more than twice a month. But this last season was really rough for me just getting one in. So I'm like, all right, the target is 2. And if I exceed that, great. But the target is 2. So twice a month, I want to make it out and get some games in with folks on War Machine Night.
And I'm hoping just to play in some more events in general, play some more War Machine. I don't get to play very much, unfortunately, just due to my work schedule, or just play some other games in general. Again, my work schedule has really been cutting into playing a lot of stuff just because we've been down a person. But
Yeah.
they've been asked by their doctor to start working like a regular work schedule again, so that they can see like just how much they're able to stand and figure out like exactly how bad the damage in their knee is. So I'm looking forward to being able to play some more games again. Try some other games out. I need to try and get some more Monster Apocalypse games in.
Yes, you do.
'Cause I haven't played in a while. Play some more Riot Quest. I do have I don't know, how big of a crew do you need for Malifaux? Is it like 5-6 models or something? Or
I think 7 or 8 is sort of the standard, and
Okay.
because it all depends on who you choose to hire.
okay, because I have the Victorious crew that I bought mostly
Nice.
just because I wanted to paint it, and I have it assembled and primed and ready to be painted. So maybe getting a demo of that at some point would
That'd be
kind
great.
of interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think the crew boxes are kind of like a battle box almost, where
Yeah.
it's a starting force that can get you going, but you
Yeah.
can add more to it to get a full
Yeah,
size
I
game.
think like 35 points is a crew box roughly,
Yeah.
and then normally a standard is 50.
Yeah, because I
So
think
that's one or two models more.
it's like 6 or 7 models, if I
Yeah.
remember right. It's
Oh.
a pretty decent chunk of models.
Unless
Oh.
you're Bayou, then you have like 3-point guys.
Yeah. Cool. Right on.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, I know. I want to get more events too. We went down to Salem at least once. Went up to Mox,
Yeah.
Bellevue at least once this last year. But I want to make it to the PGS quarterlies.
Yeah.
I only did one of those. And the thing is, those are on Saturdays, and I'm generally, Saturdays can work for me.
Yeah.
They just, I think some of them fell on Saturdays that didn't work for me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try to be more, and Wild Things, I guess, is going to be hosting once a month on Saturdays.
I think so.
And so I might be able to do a couple of those. So that'll help too.
Yeah. One of the other things I want to try and do for 2020 is I want to try and get some other events going at Runa Board that are a little bit less competitive focused and a little bit more on the fun side. I want to try and do
Like caster drafts. I want a caster draft.
I need a good full deck for caster draft. The one that I have currently, I've got like a bunch of extras of certain things, and then I'm completely missing one certain card. But I've always wanted to do an event with the alternate timeline casters.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Monster
fun.
Apocalypse event is something that some people have been asking about. Riot Quest event, Ryan Montgomery has been asking about, like, trying to get something on the regular going, and I actually have the throwdown rules and a throwdown kit, prize
Cool.
kit. So I'm trying to figure out.
You're
think
halfway
I'm
there.
going to try and do it sometime in February. I'm just trying to decide on the rule set to try and use for it, because there's a couple of different rule sets available for throwdowns. There's like
Nice.
4 different ways that you can run the event, basically, that are all very different.
Yeah.
So I want to try and get some of those other more fun events so that it's not always just the hyper competitive.
Yeah.
Kind of focused on some of the people on the west side that want to play a little bit more casually, maybe, or have a little bit more fun.
I've been thinking about that. Like, we had a great time with King of Coins last year.
Yeah.
And we
And
did
the
it.
longest night event.
Yeah.
was
The
a lot
longest
of
night
fun,
was
too.
great. Yeah, I did that. That was great. But like King of Coins, we did it citywide. At that time, there were like 4 stores that were like participating, and now one of those stores, is closed, and whatever. And so, like, I wanted to do King of Coins again, but I was thinking about limiting its scope a little bit and mostly just being West Side. I think it'd be easier to manage.
It might be.
But I don't know. We'll see. We got to find a time in the year when it'll be good, and then because I want to do that again. I want to host another paint jam. We had I think I called it like Waffles and War Machine or something, but we had pancakes instead. But like I want to do that's kind of stuff again too. Just community building things.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. So cool. All right. How about hobby goals? What do you got?
I want to get the airbrush out.
Yeah.
I second that.
Yeah.
I second that.
I mean, I have it sitting there. I see it like almost every day I walk into the hobby room, but it's just always right there. I'm like,
Taunting you.
I know, I just got to use this thing. I just got to get over my fear and just use it.
Yeah, that's me. That's
yeah.
me. Yeah.
So that's one of my big hobby goals, I guess. And then start, as everyone probably usually says, is start catching up on some of those unbuilt models or unpainted guys. Is really just at least get them built up to a point where I can prime them when it comes good, and then get around to painting them would be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I know, like especially Monster Apocalypse, as I just haven't really played because I have my guys primed. I just need to get them painted because I don't want to put them on their clear base until they're painted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is holding you off from playing any games.
Exactly. So then I'm kind of demotivated on that one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah. My biggest hobby goal is to finish the armies that are half painted. And so, like, I have specific ones that I started that I haven't finished. And so that's the Drop Zone Commander stuff, the Night Haunts, and my Slaves of Darkness. And so my goal is to finish those, and then so that I know that they're done, and that way I can peel off and start looking at, because I have a lot of projects on the table.
Yeah.
And because I'm a great starter and I'm a horrible finisher when it comes to hobby stuff. So Yeah, that's my biggest thing, I think. But then the second thing that's kind of related to that is I started keeping a spreadsheet, which first of all it lists the models that I actually have, which is terribly helpful because
And terrifying.
also terrifying.
Yeah.
And no one gets to see this list, especially Laura. But I also want to just kind of indicate the status of those models. So whether it's whether it's just built, whether it's primed, whether it's painted, and based. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I've got those started for all the War Machine and Horde stuff, and I got one for all my Malifaux stuff, and so I'm gonna get one for my sci-fi, like my Warhammer stuff eventually. I care less about that stuff because it's not as, a lot of that stuff's Horde stuff, like 30 plague bears. Like I'm not gonna write 30 plague bears,
Yeah.
but that's kind of thing. So that's those are my two big goals. So.
My painting goal for this year is to get all of my Stark stuff done for Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, nice.
I have my color scheme figured out. Once I get all the Stark stuff done, I think I counted it up. I think it's 89 models that are unpainted, which seems like a lot, but about half of those models are units.
Yeah.
And doing the units is not that bad. And then once I get done with that, plan on painting the rest of my Song of Ice and Fire stuff, which is the little bit of Lannister stuff that I have from the starter box, and then I also picked up a unit of the Warrior Sons because that unit's super cool.
Cool. Nice.
And then I also want to figure out a paint scheme for my mercenary stuff this year. Although, like I recently painted Leadfoot and Treads and Boss McHorn for Riot Quest, and I recently picked up Crick's Bane base, which is a nice green color, and it looks pretty cool on Leadfoot and Treads and on Boss McHorn. So I might use that in part for.
That's a P3?
Yes.
I might use that. I might go that direction with.
What are you calling it? Cricks?
It's Crick's Bane base.
All right, I'm writing that down. 'Cause I'm in the market for a green.
Yeah. It's a really cool color, so I might start looking at that for the mercenary stuff that I have. And start working on that at some point. And then also, finishing off the last couple circle things and then work on the minion stuff. So I
Nice.
also have a ton of projects that are sitting around ready to get worked on
Yeah.
top of the 40K stuff that I have.
Yeah. My current Scorn list only has 2 unfinished models in it, and so my goal is to finish those 2 models, and then identify a second list and start. And most likely that'll be a Disciples of Agony list, and a bunch of those are also kind of half started.
Yeah.
And so hopefully when I go to Lock and Load this year, I will have 2 fully painted lists. That's my goal.
Do it.
So I can do it. I can.
And I wanted to challenge you guys to get, one thing finished, like one army finished throughout this year. Like it
Nice.
was my goal for Circle last year, and it feels really good to look at. Like I got everything set up on my table and took pictures of it, and it felt really incredible to see everything painted and based and unified. And I know that Dan, you've worked on your Signar and your Troll stuff for a really long time, but I don't know. Like, is it like half done? Is it like 75%? Or is it
It's kind of all over the place a little
Okay.
bit. I would say,
As a
my,
whole- on a
my
whole as a
Signar,
faction.
is probably 75% or so done. It really comes down to a lot of the Colossals
Yeah.
that aren't done. And then Trolls is a little bit more of a mix match. I have like paint on a lot of them, but finished is another question.
Yeah.
So that one's actually, again, because I spent more time on it this year, I'm probably closer 85-ish%
Yeah.
painted on that one. Of course, I'm adding like probably another unit of Krell Warriors to get those bulked up. So I mean that'll add more
Yeah.
units I have to paint now.
Well, then-
but
I was going to say, is this challenge specifically for War Machine and Hordes?
No, so it's it doesn't have to be. Like if you want it to be, it can be, but it's really just like a challenge you to have to fully paint an army or collection of a type that you have. So if you want it to be just to kind of be a goal of like finish a project that's a little bit bigger than just like a single unit or
Yeah.
like a handful of pieces, something that's a little bit bigger than that, or to finish off something that you've had mostly started. Because like my circle stuff at the beginning of the year was like probably about 80% complete, and there were a couple of models that I needed to purchase in order to get to the faction complete and with the new releases, and then get them painted. And,
Okay. I like this goal. Yeah.
you know, it could be if you want it to be your Trollbloods army, then yeah, I challenge you to finish it by the end of the year, get that last 20% done. Or if you wanted it to be like your Stark army or something like that, your army or your crew that you've been working on for Malifaux,
Yeah.
like
See, there's that. I mean, I can go big because I've tried. Yeah, like I said, there's the Starks. Could go Night Haunts.
Yeah.
I've been getting some of them. Convergence.
Yeah.
because
might tackle
my
yeah.
challenge is once you finish that one,
Yeah.
finish another one.
There you go.
And you'll just
Just
start
keep it- yeah.
just try
Keep going.
knocking stuff out.
The Bayou.
Yeah, the first three hobby goals that I shared a couple minutes ago, I think can be in line with this challenge you
Yeah.
just offered, and I want to see that snowball effect. Like I want to see something get done, and then something
Yeah.
else get done, and I bet that would just feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because I was a lot of all over the place this year with working on Circle a bunch. I was strong at the beginning. Through the summer, I kind of lulled, and I started working on some commission jobs and started doing some other stuff, some other individual pieces that I wanted to do. Started working on the Riot Quest stuff, and then the last like couple of months, it was kind of a mad dash to finish this goal that I
Yeah.
put out.
That's excellent. I mean, I'd reach out to the listeners too if you're listening, and we have the
Yeah.
paint group on Facebook. Post what army you have.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should do: is take a picture of our before right now,
Yeah.
make a decision, post a before, kind of bring it out there. Anyone else who
Calling
wants to
us
post there,
out.
yeah, and then everyone else out there can post some of their stuff, and then in a year, let's kind of see where we're at and see the progress that we can all kind of
Yeah,
I like that.
make.
and like I said, it doesn't have to be like a giant army or something like that. But I want it to be more than just like 10 models or something. I wanted
Yeah.
it to be kind of more of the like over
Yeah.
20 models where it's actually going to be kind of an investment.
Like I said,
Yeah.
your Monpok army, perhaps you have
Yeah.
2 monsters and 20 units.
2 monsters and 20 units. It's a pretty
you-
pretty good sizable
That's a
force.
good goal.
You just want to
That's
get
a
it
goal.
done and put it
Yeah.
out there.
That's a good
do it.
goal.
That is I guess one goal that I did this year is I got a 2-monster list fully painted by the time I went to Lock and Load so that I could put that on the table. And that was a lot of fun.
That was Ozzy's goal last year.
Yeah.
He played fully painted at Lock and Load, so I was really proud of him.
Yeah.
I was really.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, good for you. You're better than me.
And his hammer clack is noticeable.
Yeah. So let's look at let's just kind of wrap up this episode, I guess. What is on your desk right now, hobby wise?
Oh, right now I have some Night Haunts for Christmas. I got Storm Strike. Actually, got 2 Storm Strike boxes. It's funny when you put that on your list.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
By
so-
the way, actually,
So I have quite a bit of Night Glaives and Meridians, and so I put one of them together, and it took me like 10 or 15 minutes to put like all 8 or 9 units together. So going to get the other one put together and get some terrain for MCP going.
okay. All right.
That's what's on mine.
All right. Yeah, so I decided the first thing on my list is going to be all of my Drop Zone Commander stuff. And so I am proud to report to our listeners that I have painted every day this new year. I know.
Yeah.
And so I'm very proud of myself. I've been kicking butt at work and then coming home and kicking butt at hobby. And so, and then tonight I should finish my UCM and then I'll start on the Scourge tomorrow. So I'm pretty proud of that. And then I can give you guys demos on it on a fully painted board.
I've got my second unit of Wolves of Orboros plus UA sitting there on my table. I still have my second Gubbin that I need to paint for Riot Quest, and then I should be getting the two recent expansions. So Flugwug and the Treasures, and then Weird Wendell and the Gates back from getting primed from Perry. Pretty soon, I'm hoping to catch up on all those so that I am keeping up on all of my Riot Quest stuff painted, because I got
Nice.
the Leadfoot and Treads, Boston McCorn, and then I also got the 2 Grindoverse kits painted up. So the 2 grind balls and the 2 pillars finished up recently. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's what's on my table right now.
See, it always keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
Never ending.
Yeah. Well, we have two events that we want to highlight that are coming up. And so this Saturday is our food machine event, and we've been talking about it for a couple of episodes. It's been posted on the Cog Collective events page. We've shared it around at various Facebook groups and Discord servers. And so hopefully we'll have a good turnout. And the goal of this event, it's one of those community building for fun events because you get to donate food. And every time you donate a food item, you get to break a rule or bend a rule. And so we have a fantastic cheat menu that's been put together, assembled, and you can find that online, of course, with everywhere that we've been posting all the stuffs. And then, and of course, it'll be posted in the store as well. Registration is going to be at 10:30. It's going to be only 3 rounds, and anything else? Oh yeah, all of the food. It's we're working with other community partners, and it's going to go directly toward to help high school students in the Hillsborough area who are living outdoors or are otherwise struggling. And so, I want to encourage you to bring food that a high schooler would like to eat. And here's something that you may not think about: some cans of soup and like the Chef Boyardee stuff. Their cans have the snap open, and that's actually a really awesome thing because sometimes the students don't even have a can opener, and so so be conscious about that. And so think about that as you bring food to donate. I'm not sure I want to see any cranberry sauce. Just want to put that out there. Yeah, you have to be a certain age to like cranberry sauce.
Sardines.
Actually, no, I know some kids who like sardines.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Kids are weird.
I mean, I actually haven't had any since I was like a teenager. So
Oh, see, you ate them as a teenager.
Yes.
That's the thing. Okay, and then we have another event coming up. Chad, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and then I had one other event that I wanted to quickly mention too. So,
Great.
The first one is on January 19th. We're going to have an open play day for Song of Ice and Fire. That's a Sunday. That's going to be a combined birthday celebration for Remy and Judy because their birthdays are both around that time in January. So, it's just come hang out, play some games. I think Judy is working on making either a cake or cupcakes.
Nice.
Whichever one they feel like they want to bring along. So there's no entry fee or anything like that. It's just an open play to come down and try some stuff out. And there's an older gentleman that's come into the store a couple of times in the last couple weeks who had gotten the starter and has picked up a couple of other things and read the rule book and is excited to come down and start playing.
Nice.
And so he's a much older gentleman. Seems like a very nice guy, and looking forward to. I told him about this event and then about our open plays on Fridays. So I'm hoping that he comes down and is able to get a game in.
Cool.
Enjoy the community.
I'm hoping to be there on the 19th.
Yeah,
So-
I'm planning on being there. I specifically asked Nick. I was like, "Can I just not work that day of the pre-release because I really want to come play some Song of Ice and Fire." So,
Nice.
and then the other thing that I'm doing at the store is actually a painting competition in the store. This is going to be our second one that we're doing. The theme of this one is Big Baddies. So it's a single larger model. Must be fully painted, must be between 50 to 120 millimeter basing. Submissions are through the month of January, and then after that, the cutoff is done. And then voting will be popular vote based off of customers in the store. That'll run through all of February, and then after February, we'll announce the winners. Okay. I think we're doing gift cards to top 3, and I think we might be doing a participation prize to everyone who submits a model of get a free bottle of paint or something
That's
like
cool.
that.
So the model stays in the store
Yes.
throughout voting.
Yes.
So, okay.
So that is one thing is you'll have to be willing is when you submit your model, you do have to understand that it's going to be on display in the case for all of February. You can take it out if you need to use it for something or something like that, but do understand that if it's not in the case,
You're not gonna get any votes.
you can't get any votes, so you might miss out on that. But the idea is to kind of encourage people, because it's going to be popular votes, to encourage people to bring in something cool and big that they've worked on. And I'm planning on submitting a model, but I haven't decided which one. We do have one submission in right now, which is a Gorgadra that one of my buddies has painted.
Nice.
That looks pretty cool. So I know that there's a couple of other guys like Cameron and a couple of the other 40K guys are planning on submitting some pieces. They're just getting them worked
Forget
on.
which one. Nice. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think it was a great episode. It was nice chatting with you, looking back. I'm really looking forward to this next year with you guys. We're going to continue our faction review series. Looking forward to having more guests on for some interviews, and just looking forward to spreading the hobby love. So I want to, I like that we're a positive voice out there. So for those of you that are listening, thank you for being a part of the journey with us. We'd love to hear from you, and so you're welcome to join our Discord. You're also welcome to join on the painting group on Facebook, and then you can also email us at spellstormminiatures@gmail.com. And one of the things you can do to help support us is leave positive reviews if you like it, and then and comment, and then more importantly, share us with your friends. And so with that, I just want to wish you all a happy new year. Thanks. Boom, 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 boom.